Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I'll be doing a well overdue greenhouse update. So as you can already see, there is a lot that's happened already and a lot grown. So I have been really busy over the last month, so I haven't been able to do a video, and in that time I have reached 1,000 subscribers, so thank you all so much for watching my videos. I just never expected that many people to watch the videos, to be honest. So I'm really grateful for that, and thank you for everyone who's watching. So as I said, I'll be doing a greenhouse update today, so I didn't do one for last month as I was unable to, so I'm going to do a May/June greenhouse update, and I'll show you some new plants, how everything's doing, and a bit of a new layout to the greenhouse as well, and obviously new Sarracenia. So this is the main back bench of Sarracenia at the back of the greenhouse, and as you can see everything is open now, which is a huge difference to the greenhouse update of the previous months. And as you can see, it's a really beautiful display mixed in with obviously the leucophilas and the flavas and all the different types of colour. So there's a lot of greens, whites and even some dark colours that all mix in. So as you can see, all the flowers have now been pollinated. Unfortunately I was never able to do all the crosses I wanted to, so I had 30 flowers I planned for all the crosses, but I was unable to get the crosses due to timing, and a lot of them were deformed this year. So I'll see what is successful. So some of them have been. So the Asian Slax Maxima, as you can see, the seed pod on there is huge, so it has definitely been successful, and I'll hopefully get loads of seeds off of that compared to others which I may not get as much. But I'm really happy with the Sarracenia display this year, so I'll just go through I guess some of the highlighted ones, or some of the ones that I've never shown before because it's the first time I've seen them too. So one of my favourites has always been the Asian Slax Maxima. Even though it's such a simple plant, the height, the size and just the basic lime green colour is beautiful. My Joanna hasn't fully coloured up yet, so everything's kind of like a nice light green at the moment, and later in the year they'll get their really nice dark colours. But this is the Joanna here. My Brooks hybrid is probably the tallest this year, and it was half the size last year, but it's absolutely stunning this year. Again, similar to the Asian Slax Maxima, has got the size and the height, as well as obviously the really nice lid. Looking at some leucophilas that I've got here, so some of them are a bit small. The winter and the season hasn't been great. Everything opened up a lot later in the year than it usually would, but everything is looking amazing. So you can see down here, got my Alata red tube, so this is one I brought during the winter and is now opened up. My Atripaz Maria is hiding at the back there. Flava Maxima. My Pender County, which has about 17 traps, is looking great. Look at all these little ones here, which leads up to the adult ones that I've got in here. So a little bit shorter this year, most of the plants are, but some of them were repotted, which is down to that as well. So looking at the front here, so this here is actually one of my Leucophila Cross Morio seedlings that I sowed from seed about 2.5 years ago, and this is the one that I never stratified, so I've kind of always kept it individually, and it has grown really tall now, so it's even taller than this Judith Hindle here, which I got as a small little rhizome division last year, and these ones obviously a lot taller, so I'm really happy that ones I've grown from seed have already made this much progress. My Purpurea is looking great, so you can see the darker colour from all the older traps, and then these newer traps are the fresher pictures, and the colour all year round is amazing. So it has obviously the dark pictures, which, you know, and then the growing season has these light ones. I've got my Alata black tube here, which unfortunately all the pictures so far are deformed, but you can see the lovely colour. This one always has such a nice coloration on it, but has got these deformed pictures this year. This is another one, so my L2, which is a citronelle, and again smaller pictures, but you can see the really nice pure white colour on them. Obviously not as big as they usually would be. They're very spindly and got a little, well, a lot of the Phyllodia compared to trap, but are still looking nice with the white colour, so hopefully maybe even next year they'll have a better looking. Oreophylla Sand Mountain, double the size again. Got lovely coloration starting to form, so this again will go a really nice copper colour. Pink Stripe in Throat, so this one's a really little sweet one. I really am liking this with the really cute pictures that it's got on this one. So it's got 2 growth points at the bottom here. So I've got my Regalia here, which is my first Regalia, and it's really nice, like little basic colour in there, but I love the, again, really nice light green colour of it. My Tarnock has done amazing this year, so this one again was one that I got later in the season, and it only had this one trap which I still haven't cut off. And these are the new pictures. It's already got 3, and it's just a lovely colour for obviously just a basic Leucophila, but obviously the flower is the showing form. Didn't flower this year, but hopefully it will next year due to the size and maturity of these traps. My Cronus Titan, which is the first picture and the first time I've seen this one, which is one I was wanting for ages, and it's really, really nice, really tall, and it's got a really nice obviously picture as well, that's nice and wide. So behind here, this one is just a basics one. This is a Sussex County, however this was the first Saracenia that I ever got, and I'm really happy to see that it's got its size and coloration this year, so I'm quite happy with that one, even though it is just a basic Saracenia. Obviously some of the pictures have got some really nice colour, which is, this is a Brooks Hybrid Orange Clone Cross, and they're just really lovely, which is the colours starting to form, even with obviously the lime green Maximas that I've got incorporated in here, and Veruba Corporas at the back. But overall it's just such a lovely display in here. So a quick update on my bark trials that I've got going. So everything here is planted in bark mixtures, and everything's done really well, so even the stuff that had died off, so this Bonata down here had originally died off, but as you can see it's got loads of new leaves. So it's a little bit lighter than the one next to it, but at least that is now coming back, and that one's planted in 100% bark. I'd say probably the Flytraps are the ones that are probably not enjoying the bark as much. So even though they've got some nice growth on them, they're rather leggy, and they have a bit more lighter to like yellower colour leaves. So even though they're surviving, they're not doing as well as those in peat. However, the Drusa capensis are doing great, and all the Saracenias that I've got planted in here, even the divisions, are doing really well, and even the ones which were like a small dying rhizome, this one's coming back, which is really good. And obviously my Leucophila seedlings at the front here are doing really well and got some really nice colour. So I've decided to bring up the trays, which these all were at the bottom of my benches, and I've now moved into my top bench to get as much light as possible. And these are all my Saracenia Leucophila cross Morii seedlings. All of these I grew from seed, and this year they have done really well. They've all got really nice height on them, and they're finally getting their individual traits and colours. So it'll be this year where I will go around and be able to pick out the ones that I would like to keep the most based on the different colours and shapes of the pictures. But it's a really nice display, as you can see all the colours that we've got here, all different heights, and I'll be able to pick out those that are strongest, and they're the same as those in the bark trials here. So you can see the bark trial ones are a little bit shorter to those up here, but these ones have been up here for quite a while now. So the other day I also got hold of 2 new Saracenias. So this one here is my Saracenia Camisole, and it's been one that's been on my wish list for a while, but I just haven't got around to purchasing it. But I decided to kind of have an impulse buy and brought it. So it's really nice, lovely colour with obviously the amazing hood on it, and even the smaller pictures, which are at the bottom here, are really, really sweet, and it's got some lovely coloration. And secondly, this one did get damaged in the post, but you can kind of see the shape of it is a Saracenia aurulata Deer Park, and hopefully we'll have some really nice dark coloration towards the end. But the box when it arrived was badly beaten up, so they're a little bit damaged to that, but I'm really happy that the camisole came in one piece and is looking stunning, so that's going to be a really nice cultivar to have in my collection. So at the back here I've got a few of my seed grown crosses that I sowed this year, and I've moved them out to the greenhouse now to again get the nice coloration rather than being in the propagator, as they no longer need it. And you can see the ones I've got here. Unfortunately I only had 2 of the Leviathan Cross Monster come up, but I've had a lot of success of all the other ones. So even my own crosses, so Flava Capri Cross Lindabart was one of my own last year, and as you can see all my seeds have worked. Some of the ones I brought was the Arthur Wheeler Cross Aspo and the Leah Wilkinson Cross Inspiration, and I've got even some of the Flytrap crosses here as well, which have all come up really well, and loads of them there. Another one of mine, Leucophila Cross Lindabart. Got some of the Black Widow seedlings, which have grown up now. They're about a year old, and you could already see the colour on them, which doesn't really focus as well, but you can see I've got a few here. Some of them are still quite green, and some of them stand out with the nice curved hoods. And I've got a few other smaller seedlings there which I just have not yet individually potted up. Moving on to the planters, so this is the Sundew Cottage planter. So as you can see, the fern that I originally planted in here, it has, because I did try to cut it out and has now come back, but I've only left it in here. I thought it looked quite nice with the house, so it's got a really nice like sundew tree next to it, followed by like a kind of like a jungly kind of theme for the fern leaves which tower over the little house there. And all the sundews have come back really well this year, so you can even see some new ones I planted in here. So there's an Anglica at the front there. I had some little baby sundews which I sowed, little flytraps from seed, all coming up and around the bridge. I left the Saracen Leucophila cross Morii seedling in here as well, and that's looking really nice. So if I just turn it around, then we've got the little seed corner which has done so well. I haven't taken any of these out yet, but you can see the little bonatas starting to form here, more little Capensis, there's even Capensis alba in here. I've got a Rotunda folia which I didn't realise had obviously been as a hibernactor, I'm guessing, in there. I don't even remember planting it in there, but that's in there and it's done really well and it's even flowering. At the back of the hill, obviously another large Capensis, they've gone really well this year, and some pygmy sundews, Aliciae, the little pings here, and other varieties of sundew, all just at the back of there. Most of them been covered up by moss now, but they're still there. But I'm really liking this. Obviously got my favourite Scorpioides in there. But it is just a really nice display, it just needs a little bit more tidying up, but it's doing really well this year. So the bunny bog planter is starting to come around as well. So obviously ever since bringing up the Flytraps, they have obviously got longer petioles this year, and the smaller older growth is at the base. So eventually, as it gets later in the year, they will just have this bottom growth. But the petioles are really long, but it's still got its really nice, bright, vibrant red colour, which makes it really nice. Obviously typical Flytraps, the best one that I've had, and is my 7 or 8 year old now Flytrap. And I'll see my Capensis in here. So I kept it basic just to focus on the bunny bog Flytraps that I've got in here. I did plant some Utriculata at the back there, where the little bunny burrow is. However, it has not yet come up, so I'm guessing that will come up later in the year, but I can still see the leaves there, so I'm sure that that will come up as well. Looking at sundews now, so this has got a little bit messy due to obviously the growth impact, especially on the Benatevar dictoma. But I will look at those in a second. So just go across, there is a Paparia in here, one of the small ones, because I had nowhere else to put it, but it's got a couple of sundews in it. So I've got my Aliciae, so everything is starting to flower now in the kind of sundew aspect. I've got my all my pygmy sundews which are on this side, so they're already starting to get their colour and really nice shapes to them now. So you can just, I'm just going to scan through. So you've got the Occidentalis here, which I did sow from Gamier. I got my Drosa cross Helen, and that is lovely. The really nice abundance of dew and the thick leaves, and almost like the new growth has got like a bit of a fluff to it. Don't know if you can see there. It's just a really nice grower as well, so I'm really happy with this one. I did sow some Gamier in the bottom there, and you can see that's all coming up. They're starting to flower already. So got some Palacea in here, my Manii cross Amissa, my Platystigma, more Occidentalis, which is the ones I sowed from Gamier, my Rosanna, which are just absolutely beautiful. So this is going to probably be a really nice display. There's so many in here, as you can see, that they've all just kind of touched, and it's quite a nice little growth pattern. They've all got flowers on now, so they're all going to flower as one big group. Same as in here, got some more Rosanna. My Leucoblasta, which I really like these. It's such a nice like orangey colour, so remind me of the Pulchella, because that's another one of my favourite, and it's just got some nice growth, which is similar, as you can see, to the Pulchella at the back here. So this is my pure Pulchella, which is the first pygmy sundew I ever got, and has been one of my favourites for ages. Just a lovely orange wide circle leaves on them, are lovely. So I've got the Pulchella cross Nitula, which are a little bit bigger and got some larger leaves, but there's a very strong grower, produces hundreds of Gamier, so I have several pots of these. My all-time favourite is the Scorpioides, so these are the young ones that I planted from Gamier, and these are the adults which survived the winter. My displays of Capensis mixed with Flytraps are doing really well, so these are my older adults. Got my Drosa alba or Capensis alba, which is just a really nice abundance of like a pinky white colour, which is really nice. A really nice strong dew. One of the plants I don't think I've ever shown before, so this is my Stylidium, and it's a type of carnivorous plant, so they've got the carnivorous flowers on them, and this is one that I've had for a while now and I've only recently brought out. So as you can see, this one spreads a lot from the roots, so you can even see the little babies starting to come up everywhere in here. So I can't wait to see this one flower. So it's a really nice one, and hopefully will be a nice addition to the collection as well, but it's the first time I think I've brought it out to the greenhouse. So just got a few Flytraps babies in here. Move on to Flytraps in a second. My Anglica, so you can see the young ones are in here. My taller Anglica here has just finished flowering. I never actually got to see the flowers, but some of the smaller ones here are flowering. My intermediate is looking a bit rough, so it kind of started growing, died down, but it's coming back again. So you can see the larger leaves at the back there. So as you can see, my large Banata Vardictoma has just basically spread out. The leaves this year I think have been the biggest yet, so without getting too dewy. So you can see here the individual leaves are absolutely huge, and they have just got really heavy for the plant and toppled over. So it's just kind of a mess, which is shielding everything else. So you can see my Filiformis here is in full flower at the moment, but is looking absolutely amazing with the lovely dew as it does every year. Obviously the Banata is covering several things, so like the common type of Banata, again really big leaves on that. Got my Rotundifolia larger adults at the back here, which have kind of been shielded. Another common Banata, so these are in flower at the moment. They've got some lovely just white simple flowers on them, but they're just very nice sweet simplistic flowers. Try and get a better look at the Filiformis flower, which they readily self-seed a lot anyway, so I'm going to get loads of self-seed from these ones anyway. Moving on to Flytraps, and as you can see they're in full swing of growth now, and I'll just go through them again. The Drosa have kind of fallen over, some of them, so I do have my green wizard right at the back there underneath the Banata. The Megatraps is currently being attacked by the Drosera, but they're just ones at the back. So I've got my Red Piranha here. I'm slowly working my way through cutting all the flower stalks. Every single one of these had a flower stalk. I would have usually cut them off by now, but I decided to cut the front ones off just so to give a better view. And I'm slowly going through, taking them all off and propagating them. I've got my Red Dragon here, so there's 4 in this pot. So just absolutely stunning colour with obviously the red flower stalks, and each flower stalk has kind of got 2 flowers. So one at the base there, so I don't know if you can see that one right at the back. It's got 2, and the same here. So it's got like 1 further down and then 1 higher up. I've got some really large traps on my Darwin, which I was really hoping for this year. So as you can see, really nice lovely traps. I've got some very large trap cultivars this year. So my DCXL, which has kind of been taken over by the Filiforms, so I just need to move these Drosera out the way to allow room for these. Got my green wizard at the back there. B52 hasn't made that larger traps, but it's slowly starting to come back. Has a little bit of deformity on the growth. I have checked for pests, but I think it's just a slow start to the growth. It wasn't that great to start off with, but now it is starting to come back really well. Got my Bristle-tooth, which is a really nice big spreader. Lovely coloration trap. I do really like this one. My cup trap did have 4, but as you can see I've only got 3 in the pot now. They're always quite small, but they're doing quite well. I have just taken the flower stalks off them as well, so hopefully they'll recover quite well. My Giant Sand, so another large cultivar with a large trap. My Beastie Boy, which always produces such large traps every year. It's got a really nice red colour with like that kind of greeny rim around it as well. It's a really nice, just detailed colour in there. So as you can see, the traps are large enough to have a large spider in there. Pretty gross, but as you can see, it can catch large prey. My Phalanx, which is my all-time favourite and first cultivar I got, with the lovely long lashes with the little white bits when they get really long like this one at the back. My Paradista, which has got some really nice inside coloration to the traps at the moment. Did have some really nice peachy colour, which has kind of faded out a bit now. My Baby Spider, which is looking really nice with the long petioles. And my Southwest Giant, so another large cultivar, with my Dentate here, with always nice colour and like a red rim around the outside of the traps. So I've got a tray here which is just loads of bits and bobs, so I'm just going to go through and like pick out a couple of like highlighted stuff. So I've got another Bonata Vardictoma there. As you can see, the leaf shape is really large. I've had to put this one there because it was just mixed in with everything else over there and, you know, suppressing loads of growth. So I've put this over here and I have to just make room for it. At the moment it's just in here with my last remaining Paradoxa. So got another Bonata Vardictoma in here. Got a few Anglicas, just mainly mixed trays, quite a few Anglicas actually, common Bonatas, Capensis. Got loads of 6cm pots of, so there's a spatulata here, but then Pygmy Sundew, so mainly the Rosanna, the Pulchella cross, all across there, and a couple of the Scorpioides, as you can see. A few 6cm of the Pygmy, sorry, the Pinnuicula grandiflora. Got my Pygmy little bog barrel here with some more of the Pulchella cross in here, which look really well. Another heather that's self-seeded in here at the back, which I just haven't taken out yet. Some of my crosses, so these are ones that I sowed over winter and let them self-seed through the cold, so these are just naturally stratified over winter. And some of them are coming up yet, so it's very slow, but we do have some that are only just coming through. So some of my own crosses are coming up. So this is another one of my own crosses actually. I think I had quite a lot of my own success from my own crosses. Got another Leah Wilkerson cross inspiration here that's coming up. So just a few bits and bobs. It's very slow and haven't had as much success as I would like, but we did have a very harsh winter. So it's nice to see things are finally coming up. So what I want to show you here, so my main Drosera regia died over the winter again because of a really harsh winter. It just completely rotted off and died. So I took some root cuttings. The roots had gone basically rotten, but I took as many as the firm roots as I could to do some root cuttings, which had never been successful when I tried with a healthy plant. And I had two from this pot that have come up and they're getting quite big now. I am super happy. They've only just came into the greenhouse the last couple of days, but I am so happy because they've grown really fast. The other day they were just tiny little seedlings and then they've just massively shot up like that. So I am super happy to have my regia back because I was ready to go and buy another one, but now I've got two that came from my adult. So unfortunately I did lose my 3-year-old adult, but I do now have the new generation from the clones here. And obviously I've got my little Utricularia, which is just flowering here, which is the Biscomata. Okay, so that was a quick update which covers basically everything that was missed in May and now what everything currently looks like in mid-June. So obviously it'll be July very soon, that will creep up and it'll be time for another update. So hopefully a few more changes will happen. So it's just the best part of the year really now. So it's a full active growing season. Obviously everything's a little bit behind. We did have a very harsh winter and some stuff hasn't recovered or grown as well. Same with the Sarracenia, all of these are rather short. However, it's just such an impressive display. Really happy with my new plants as well. So thank you all for watching and I hope you have a great day.